That's our intro. All righty, boys. Golly, it's been a minute. We have, it's the holidays, right? And I think that's going to segment into what we're talking about. We've been crazy busy. We're back. We didn't die. We're not going anywhere. This will never go away. But Cody, Joseph, how you doing, fellas? Good to see you. World, good to see you. We're back. And we really just kind of want to talk about all things fitness and nutrition during the holiday period, maybe during this Christmas time. All right. Both of us, Cody and Joseph, have a lot of clients that we have conversations with of, hey, we understand this is a hard time of year, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. A lot of people just punt their fitness and nutrition to next year. I'll be back. But when you look about it, it's 3 months. It's a quarter of the year, if I did my math right. 25% of your life that you're kicking in next year. So what are some of the things that we suggest to our clients, to maybe other trainers during this time? And that's going to be the topic today, boys. So let's jump in, let's dive right in, and let's talk about, I guess, Cody, I'll ask you first. What do you suggest to some of your clients during this time? Like, what are some real life conversations that you've had about what should a client do during this time? Whether they want to lose weight, just be healthy, whether they want to strength, all the things. What conversations are you having?
I like the question. I'm going to coattail actually a little bit off of what I heard Joseph say yesterday. And the reason I want to coattail off of it is because it resonates with me. It's like one of my core professional values. And that's ultimately being client centered. And so Tyler, you asked if somebody wants to lose weight or gain weight, I'll get curious with them and find out why they have that goal and what the timeline looks like, maybe in the short term and the long term. But hey, if somebody wants to lose weight during the holidays, I'll do whatever I can to support them. With that said, though, a piece of context I do like to include for people who certainly want to lose weight during the holidays is this is notoriously a challenging time of year to lose weight. And part of that reason is it's a very food and celebration rich environment. And so if somebody's very open-minded and they aren't set to their goals, or they're willing to have some input and kind of be coached through the holidays, then my recommendation is usually align the outcomes of training with the environment that you're going to exist in. And so it's a good time to ramp up volume, try to get strong, train hard, as long as you're not too stressed and whatnot. But man, chasing some strength or chasing some lean body mass and kind of, pushing yourself because you're in a, energy surplus, it's not a bad time. That doesn't work for everybody because maybe they're traveling, maybe they are stressed. So ultimately, again, going back to what Joseph said, tailoring the approach so that it makes sense for them and it's client centered. That's the number one thing. But this is my favorite time to sling some iron.
The old surplus. It's just when the surplus gets out of hand. When the surplus gets out of hand, they were like, hey, hold on for a second. We didn't just say completely unleash everything and take off. But Joseph, what are some stuff you're having, some conversations you're having with your clients? What's your approach during this time?
Yeah, so kind of like Cody was saying, I take a huge deep dive on being just client centered. And so a lot of times it's as easy as asking questions. And so it's like, what are your goals? What are your holiday plans look like? And of the holidays, how many days are you in town? How many days are you out of town? How many days do you actually celebrate? Right. And so sometimes I've got 3 Friendsgivings, I've got a work potluck, and then I've got my family Thanksgiving as well. Right. So we got 5 days that we've got to plan around for Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever the case may be. And then I like to set really realistic expectations. And so I'm like, hey, what if we just maintain during the next couple months? Right. What if it's not the end of the world? Most people are gaining 5 to 10 to 20 pounds during this time. If you maintain, you're leagues ahead of everybody else. And so I set that realistic expectation as well. And then I'll talk a little bit about kind of what's doable. So a lot of times if we're traveling out of town, I can't ask them to go to the gym, or maybe they don't want to pay the day pass or whatever the case may be. So we'll sling together some at-home workouts, or just get some movement or some activity in and giving them ideas there. And then so that's kind of from a fitness standpoint of figuring out what's available to them, what can they actually do, what do they like to do. Telling my clients that don't like to run to go run, probably not going to happen. And then from a nutrition standpoint, it's more of hey, let's try to behave as best as possible the days you're not at a Friendsgiving, and then go have fun, go blow it out of the water. It doesn't really bother me, but let's get back on track when you can.
Yeah, I think the whole maintain thing, us three know that within the business sector that we work in, we hear plan, goal, dream a lot. And I equate plan, goal, dream to my clients a lot. Exact conversation I was having with someone the other day. One of my clients wanted to lose about 20 pounds. All right. So we're in this journey of wanting to lose 20 pounds together. And October was coming up. She's like, Tyler, I need, a little bit of motivation. What are we doing? I was like, hey, let's do this. Okay. Let's have plan, goal, dream for your goals during this holiday season. Plan, just like Joseph said, maintain. That's our plan. Like, let's just like baseline, let's just not change a thing. And she's like, okay. And I was like, dream, like 3 months, let's just say 3 pounds a month, right? And that's 9 pounds. So let's that be our dream. Okay. And then let's let our goal land somewhere around in the middle. All right. Let's just say that person weighed 150. All right. So plan would be we stay 150. Nothing changes. That's a win to us. That has to happen, right? Let's say 146 is goal. All right. That'd be a cool goal to have. We lost 4 pounds during this time, probably had some good habits, all yada, yada. And then dream, we got down to 141. All right. So like, let's just say if we land somewhere between 140 and 150 during this holiday period, it's a win. And she wrote it on her big mirror inside of her gym and everything. And that was our goal. And that was our approach. And when you know it, we're in the middle of December, beginning of December right now. And she's about 4 pounds down. So we're hitting along that goal mark right there. And we haven't really changed a whole lot other than I feel like this psychological understanding of like just awareness of what's going on. Right. So let's take away that goal or that number we're working towards, y'all. And let's talk about habits, right, during this time. And so what has really led my client to 4 pounds down during this holiday season, because we've been together a long time, is really just habits and awareness. So what are some of y'all's top habits during this time that you really want to drive home to your clients? What's going to happen?
Go first.
Biggest habit for me is activity level. It's just please
100%.
keep moving. Like no matter what it is, like I need you to do something besides sit on the couch, watch Christmas movies, watch sports, do something pretty please. Daily. Right. And so I think we get caught up in this. Well, I'm going to work out 3 days a week, which is great, but that doesn't mean you're going to be lazy for the other 4 days. That's not what that means. Like we can still be active. We can still go for walks. We can do chores. We can clean, like whatever the case may be. Please don't slump into a Netflix binge for me, pretty please, during this time. So I'll be kind of habit number one, get some activity, every single day, no matter what it is. And a lot of times I think people, again, kind of going back to Tyler's point of like, we've got to create a plan. And a lot of times people are like, okay, well, I got to be active, but they never go past that point. And so when it's like, well, I got to be active today. And they're like, well, what am I going to do? And so I set up those plans with a lot of my clients. And so whether it's like, hey, go for a 10 or a 15-minute walk today, go for your jog, go for a swim, go for a bike ride, go to the gym, go to your workout, whatever the case may be. So I'll literally go day by day with my clients and I will plan out their activity. Even if it's just, I need you to vacuum your whole house today, right? That's all you got time for. Cool. We're going to vacuum the house in 15 minutes, right? It's better than watching Netflix.
Which, by the way, vacuuming the whole house in 15 minutes, don't sleep on that. You will break a sweat. You're going to be huffing and puffing. That's sneaky right there.
Yeah, well, Cody's. I mean, you got to go a bunch of stairs in Cody's house and all that. It's probably I can just, I can do mine from my desk and I'm done.
Most people listening are like, I don't got a vacuum. I got a Roomba.
Oh yes, don't sleep on a Roomba. Those are Dyson, great too.
Add that to your Christmas list.
Yes, Dysons are great. Cody, what about habits on your end? What are you coaching? What are you preaching?
Well, I'm sorry, Joseph, I interrupted you. Did you get to finish?
Oh yeah, the only thing
you finished. No, good. That was my one habit. Stay active. That's all. That was my one.
Just be active.
Drop.
Yeah. It's funny. Like as we're thinking about this, we're talking about it, and as I'm hearing y'all talk about what you do, like I'm in complete agreement. I guess for people listening, like there is no necessarily like right or wrong, and what I mean by that, like the context around that is, I have some people who are like religious and very consistent throughout most of the year. And so that might be a situation where like around the holidays, based on like what the logistical constraints are, like Joseph, how you mentioned like traveling and like holiday parties and family and whatnot. Maybe that's the time to almost like go off the beaten path. And what I mean by that is like, if we've been like rigid with programming up until the holidays, maybe this is the time to like just go into the gym and like have fun, right? Like, what are your favorite exercises? Let's run those down. But conversely, like there are other people who struggle with that consistency throughout the year. And so that's not necessarily a time that I'll like sprinkle in like more variety, because like their life already has a lot of variety and it's very dynamic. So for them, it's like, how do we just do what we have currently been doing, and maintain through the holidays, if you will. I mean,
Say
it
that
might
word.
be
Say that.
Did you say gaintain?
gaintain, baby.
We need that on a
Gaintain.
shirt. Henry, cut this, edit. It's on a shirt. It's coming out.
You know, we always talk about like the steps per day, like 8, 10, 12,000 steps. Like that's great. But some people working from home, they might be at like 2,000 steps. So I might still continue to try to work on getting them to like 3, right?
Mhm.
That wouldn't necessarily stop through the holidays. Little like things that I might have people focus on. And I didn't come up with this. I can't remember who I heard it from, but I wish I could give them credit for it. It's basically like, don't let like an off plan day, or even you can look more micro, like meal occur like 2 times in a row. And so like you might have one day where things are crazy. Cool. The next day, like get back on track with the things that you were working on. Like Thanksgiving feast. Cool. Like eat a breakfast early in the day that is in alignment with like what you're working on. Right. So like try not to let like 2 days or 2 meals of off plan stuff happen. And what that looks like can be very different for different people. So that's kind of where I like might have them focus.
You literally took like the next phrase out of my mouth, Cody, because I don't even know where you two land on this. I have an idea of where you two land on this, but it drives me insane. We live in the fitness world of social media and all that. You'll have the trainer that's like, you need to be rigid, you need to be strict. Just because it's Thanksgiving doesn't mean you need to go off your plan, yada, yada, yada. And that's just wild. That's crazy, right? And then you have, let's swing the pendulum to the other side where it's like, it's the holidays, enjoy the family and the friends and the festivities. And next thing you know, like this one meal turns into 4 days of non-activity, over surplus in calories, all of the things, right? And we probably land right there in the middle, with maybe more towards the former, right? It's like, hey, it's a day. Enjoy it with your family. Joseph, you've done the math before on how much you need to be in a surplus. And it's like you need to eat like 10,000 calories or 10,500 calories in a day to like gain a pound. Like it's kind of crazy, right? For the average person, that's crazy. So it's like, hey, enjoy the day, but then the next day, let's try and start getting back into a routine. Don't let Thanksgiving, it's on a Thursday, turn into leftovers on Friday. Those leftovers spill into Saturday. Then you're like, screw it. I went through Thursday through Saturday. Sunday, we're going to brunch with the friends. And then Monday, you're so tired from the amount of calories that you've eaten the past 4 days. Monday's like, probably not going to work out today. I'll get to it to Tuesday. And next thing you know, you really went through 4 or 5 days of just this non-activity. And you've actually kind of formed a little steered habit into your brain of this non-activity surplus. So we probably always land somewhere right there in the middle of, hey, enjoy the day, but be mindful and just get back on it the next day, right?
I got a question. On the FitChat, we generally talk a lot about weight loss, and rightfully so, because predominantly like the people that we work with, that is probably, and maybe I can't speak for y'all, that's probably the most common goal that the people that we work with have, is something around weight loss, fat loss. And then maybe like feeling better, moving better, getting stronger. What do you guys say to the client who like wants to and like needs to gain weight, like the super lean individual, who wants to gain 5 to 10 pounds and they just struggle? How do you approach it with them? Because these people still exist and they still sometimes need help.
Yes.
And how do you approach the holidays or just nutrition in general with them?
According to like every nerdy article I've ever read, it's a very small percentage of people.
Very small.
But I would say, like, so for my clients who want to gain weight, they're trying to build muscle, whatever the case may be, what is their approach into the holidays? And I always say, hey, at least hit your protein goal, right? Because I think protein is also going to help you feel better. So if I've got you at 150, 200 grams of protein, whatever the case may be, and you're knee deep in pumpkin pie and sweet potato casserole and like all that, you're going to wake up tomorrow and the next day feeling worse. And we still kind of have a mission at hand. So I would say, hey, go and do all that, go and do all those things, but at least try to hit your protein goal for me so you feel better in consecutive days. And so if you are going to train, because a lot of these people who want to gain weight, they're probably also training, which is making them gaining weight harder because they're burning calories. And so I'm like, hey, I need you to feel good during your training sessions. And we're not going to do that being 90% carbs and fats and 10% protein. So I need you to kind of pivot some of that and focus a little bit more on protein. So I think that'd be my goal.
And kind of coming back to your activity level, Joseph, it's like, okay, what happens if you're in a surplus with no activity? the weight you're putting on isn't probably the weight that you're wanting to put on. It's like, yeah, Tyler, I would love to put on 5 to 10 pounds. Well, like, what's that 5 to 10 pounds made up of? And your activity level is going to directly determine what exactly it is you're putting on. So that person that's wanting to put on weight during that time, explaining to them, being like, hey, we still gotta get to the gym. We still got to get our resistance training in, but what a great time to put on weight during this time because of all the activities and things that are going on. I personally, if I know like Thanksgiving is coming up, or for Christmas, family, I know the meal that's coming up, right? And it's going to be the day after and the day after. You better believe I'm hitting the gym hard with the big three boys. We're ripping some weight off the ground. We're getting some weight on our back with some squats, and we're pressing like crazy. So I really try and schedule out my heavier lifts or heavier weeks during that time of I know those meals are going to be there. And the next thing you know, it's like, oh, that worked. I do a little fun exercise on Thanksgiving or Christmas. I weigh myself in the morning and in the evening to see how much I can put on.
It's a heck of a day right there.
It
and
is.
now, and so like going, because like how much can you put on? Plus what you said earlier was you'd have to eat in a surplus of like 8 to 10,000 calories to gain 1 pound, right? So when we do put on, it's mostly water weight. Like we got to get around that. Like we got to figure that out. Could be some inflammation from whatever we're eating causing inflammation or whatever the case may be, but it's mostly water weight. And so I always tell people like, even if you gain 3 or 4 pounds on Thanksgiving Day alone, you didn't really gain 3 to 4 pounds, right? Wake up tomorrow, weigh in again, and you're already half of that's already gone, right? And so I always try to set that realistic expectation. And then, like, to your point, it's like, hey, while we're in this massive caloric surplus, why don't we slow down our workouts, go to like a 3 to 5 rep range, you know what I mean? And just lift heavy, take a long break, text your family, tell them you're on the way home in a little bit, and then get back into your next set, right? And so it's like, let's just slow down to kind of take advantage of the moment and kind of go from there. So I like that.
Hey, Joseph, speaking of that weight we put on during that time, probably carb heavy, we're retaining water. Do I need a detox on Monday after a heavy weekend? Like, should I order some herbal tea or a cleanse? I'm asking, give me the science behind, like, what do we need to do on Monday? Because we get this, us three get this all the time, and it drives us bat crazy.
Your body is an amazing machine. I'm going to start there.
You're filtering through your mind right now. It's like it's having to pass through a filter.
I
He's
can
having to
see
pass through
him
a
like flicking
non-existent
through
filter
gears.
right
He's
now.
like R PG-13. I'll go with PG.
I appreciate that, Joseph.
I'll tell you, if anyone can censor me, it's Tyler. So, yeah, your body's amazing. It has a liver and kidneys. Sometimes one kidney, but most people have two. And it's a great detoxing organs. It's a great filtration organs. And every time you are peeing, pooping, sweating, breathing, you are just naturally detoxing yourself. And most detox probably are just making you do those 3 or 4 things a lot faster. And it's a very uncomfortable process. So maybe you're peeing more, maybe you're going number 2 more, maybe you're sweating a little bit more, whatever the case may be. And I think a lot of times we think if we flood our body with a bunch of chemicals or whatever are in these detox things, our body's going to utilize it. And that's not true. And so we have a limit, a threshold of all things. And most of the things we can't utilize, we'll either store them in a kind of a toxic environment, or we will get rid of them and we will flush them out because your liver and kidneys work really well.
Yeah.
Can I piggyback on this?
Please. That's why we're here.
So on one hand, like I totally resonate and empathize with like the feeling of like, oh gosh, like I feel like I need a detox. I think all of us can agree that that's happened at one point or another. The flip side though is if you're in a situation where you truly actually need a detox, like you need to go to the hospital right now.
Means your liver is not working
right now. Like you need, and I don't know what it is, but medicine and protocols administered by a doctor if you truly need to be detoxed. Now, the caveat to that is when you look at these commercially available like detoxes and cleanses, the weird thing is when you get curious about like what specifically they are detoxing, it's vague. It's never like objectively or like quantified like this will detox XYZ in XYZ amounts. Or like this is the LD50, like this is what you need to take. That never happens. It's here's vitamins and minerals and hydration. So then the thing is, what if you just return to what you were doing before you felt like you needed to get into a detox, right? Like, and if you look at like a juice cleanse, what happens if you just drink a lot of water and eat the exact same vegetables and fruits that are in that cleanse and then eat some protein and some fats? Like, why isn't that? And I get it, like detoxes and they're convenient and fancy and flat tummy this and whatnot, but like if you think about it just kind of like logically and objectively, man,
because it doesn't sound sexy to tell a client or to promote, hey, next day just eat a bunch of fruits and vegetables, drink water, and go work out. It doesn't sound sexy. I can't sell that. I can't sell that in a package. It's not packageable, and a detox is packageable with a sexy label that then tell it's the exact same thing. Exact same thing.
I'm always interested in, maybe you guys have tried it. I don't know. Sometimes I try some dumb stuff on myself, but I haven't tried this one. And so I would be interested to hear or know, if you could do Thanksgiving twice, let's just say, right? You got one Thanksgiving, next day you feel bad, you take a 3-day detox or a 3-day cleanse, right? And then day 4, I want you to write down how you feel. And then experiment number 2 would you go through Thanksgiving and you just prioritize water, protein, fruits, and vegetables for 3 days and document how you feel on the 4th day. And I would be very curious of which day you'd feel like, which experiment would you feel better on? And again, I haven't done it. I've never done a detox. And so, but I'll be curious to see like which route would be better. And if it's about this, it's probably going to be about the same, which is what I think. I think you're going to feel about the same on day 4, but could you save 50, 75, $100 by not purchasing the detox, right? To get the same result in the next 4 days? It'd be wild.
Just go buy some more healthier food for the following week. Side note, funny story, gentlemen, relating to exactly this. The other night was Tuesday night. Went to client dinner. Actually, Henry, who edits these videos for us, team. Henry. I went to dinner with Henry and his family. I've trained his family for a very long time. We went to the Cheesecake Factory. All right. And I'd had a normal day. I hadn't been to the Cheesecake Factory in like 10 years. Okay.
Crushed it, didn't you? Tell me about it.
My God, y'all, I had a normal day of eating. I had a awesome breakfast, an awesome lunch. I had forgotten the ungodly portion sizes that Cheesecake Factory serves you.
What'd you get? Talk dirty to me, man.
Oh my God. It was chicken parm and in quotations next to it, pizza style. What does that mean? I'm glad you asked, Cody. It is, they basically beat down a piece of chicken into the size of a pizza about this big. They batter it, and then they put cheese all over, marinara sauce all over it, and then they put the noodles on top of it. So it's like a pizza. Okay, so it's kind of reverse what it would normally be. Had to have been somewhere. It gave you the calorie count on the menu, but I don't believe that calorie count for 1 second because it said it was like 1260, I believe is what it was. Had to have been every bit of 2000, I swear. And I'd had 2 loaves of bread before this. Okay. 2 loaves of bread.
Loaves or slices?
Loaves, like the ones like this big, right? I'm not a slice guy. Give me the whole loaf. 2 loaves, butter all over it. I had the chicken parm pizza style, of course, polished it off. All right, licked the plate. Then I had a piece of cheesecake afterwards. The piece of cheesecake alone. What kind of cheesecake? Glad you asked, Joseph. Caramel apple. Okay. We can get into another discussion. It was okay. It was okay. That piece of cheesecake alone was 1,200 calories. Okay. So I guarantee y'all in this meal, I might have had around 4,000 calories. Easy. Okay. I was so full when I got home. I basically didn't really sleep Tuesday night. I sweated the whole night. I swear to God, I was sweating. I woke up at 1:30 a.m. just sweating my ass off. Okay. And I'm like, this is not okay. This is like wild. I didn't know whether I needed to throw up or just like fight through it. Ended up falling back asleep. Terrible night of sleep. It was horrible. Woke up the next day and I'm like, okay, I'm bringing this around. How does this relate to like maybe the people listening or our clients, right? We all go through this. I'm human. Me and Joseph, all three of us had a whole pizza a few weeks ago, right? To ourselves. So I had about 4,000 to 5,000 calories in one meal Tuesday night. The next day, I'm like, okay, what's the game plan, Tyler? What are we doing? Am I going to Google detox and get this done? I'm like, I'm just going to kind of intuitively eat today. And I'm just going to eat when I'm hungry. All right. I'm going to eat when I'm hungry. I'm going to get my workout in that I always get. I'm going to have some water. I didn't eat till 2. I did not eat till 2 p.m. because because I wasn't hungry. The stores were there. And I was just like, okay, like I was going throughout my day and like, y'all, I mean, I'm in my house. There's food everywhere, right? I'm like, I'm just going to wait till like the hunger pangs call. And like, I was fine. And I probably like had put on 5-6 pounds from the day before. And then what am I? It's Thursday now. This is 2 days later. I'm right back to my normal weight that I'm always on. I don't feel bad about what I did. I had fun with some great friends / clients of mine, and life is back to normal. And it's really just me relating this story to the rest of everyone listening is like, look, this is going to happen during the holiday season. Don't freak out. The next day, be cool. Go about your business, intuitively eat a little bit, and just get back with the program. I haven't eaten as much since Tuesday.
I will tell everybody listening, this is why I don't live in Dallas. Tyler's invited me to move to Dallas like multiple times because him and I will compete at every meal we eat at. And it's happened like 3 or 4 times already. It's never a pretty ending.
This would be called the not so fit chat.
I'm staying in San Antonio.
Yes, that's my story.
Tyler, I'm curious, how was your workout the next day? Did you just crush it?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. I thought it would be. I thought it'd be like a really good crushing day. Going through a little bit of elbow issues right now, to be honest with you, Cody. So I'm working through some stuff there. It was kind of the same. I thought I'd have some good energy stores there and I'd be feeling really strong and crush my workout, but it was honestly just kind of normal. I felt a little sluggish, to be honest with you. I think I went past the threshold of it was going to feel good. I went into the threshold. I still feel like a slug.
Well, so this is like, I'm hypothesizing here. Sure, there could be like a nutritional component to it, but you mentioned you woke up in the middle of the night. It was more my sleep.
I was so tired Wednesday. Like, oh man, Joseph, I don't know if we were in any meetings together on Wednesday, but my meeting schedule on Wednesday, I was like having to peel my eyes to stay open. It was more so lack of sleep Tuesday night than it was the actual like energy stores there.
Reminds me of Joseph's salmon sushi sweats.
Y'all,
fish oil.
Audience, us 3 went to sushi a few weeks ago and we ordered so much sushi. Our waitress suggested that we might need a bigger table. Yeah. She's like, we may have to move y'all.
So this is a good segue though, because I'm sure there's people who have either heard or do say that like food is fuel. Like it's just, that's all it is. And while that probably resonates with people or like more elite athletes or people whose kind of livelihood revolves around fitness and nutrition and whatnot, from like a societal perspective, it's important to note that like celebrating with food is something that is very much a part of society. And so like when we went to dinner, like I'm like, this is a celebration. Like I enjoy getting to spend time with these guys. Like, let's crush some sushi. This is fun. We had a great time. That will happen during the holidays. And that's normal and that's to be expected. And that's completely A-okay. I don't know. So this is maybe like the follow-up question that I have. Somebody goes and celebrates. They have an amazing time. They crush their sushi. They have their big Christmas dinner. They eat a whole pizza or a chicken parm thing, whatever.
Yeah.
What when a client comes in and they're like, hey, I've been bad. I need to burn this off. Or like I need to be I need to get wrecked. I need to be like, like I need the weights to punish me. What, like Joseph's like, ew, that sounds weird. Maybe. How do you like coach somebody through that? What do you say? Do you say anything at all? How do you acknowledge it? What's the game plan?
I'll tell you right now, I will like feed into that. I'm like, heck yeah, we're gonna kill it. We're gonna do the exact same thing I had planned for you, no matter what.
That is so true. That
Mirrors.
is so true. Because Joseph, I was almost just gonna be like, I just play it off. I'm like, we're fine, and I do the same thing. But Joseph saying he feeds into it, and we're gonna do that. That's brilliant. I love that. I
I'm
love
like, heck
that.
yeah. You've got so many stored calories. You got so much energy. We're about to crush this workout. You're going to be drenched in sweat by the time you're done. Heart rate's going to be pumping. The reason you're drenched and your heart rate's pumping because you've got like probably 5 extra pounds on you and you've got the meat sweats from the day before. And like, it has nothing to do with the workout. We're going to do the same plan that I had.
You would really have to say, hey, we're booked from 9 to 10 a.m. Let's clear schedule. I need you here from like 9 to 12 a.m. or 12 p.m. Like we're going to be here for 3 hours because that's the only way in which you're going to quote unquote burn it off if you just do the simple math, right? Say they went 1,000 calories over. Well, now we would have to work out to burn 1,000 calories. In our previous podcast, we know that our watches are terrible at telling us that. So how do we even know if we burned it off or not?
Yeah.
Do you see that as an opportunity though to get curious with somebody's like either relationship with food or relationship with exercise? Do you want to like reframe it in terms of it's the celebratory amazing meal that you had with your family isn't something that you have to go undo or burn off, but rather it's like, no, you're fueled up. Like you can do your regular training program. It might even feel better. Like, do you see that as an opportunity or let them rock and roll, keep going?
I think that's tough. And I think it depends on the client. Cause a lot of times, like sometimes I'll even feel that way. I'm like, man, I ate like crap. I got to go to the gym and I'm going to try to do my best. Right. But most of it is like, it's just like a feeling we're trying to convince ourselves or someone else that I need to go do something positive. Hopefully that's how I look at it. We always talk about exercise like as a punishment. I've never thought of exercise as punishment. But that's because I enjoy exercise, right? And so now for most people, if you don't enjoy exercise, I would say you probably just haven't found the right exercise yet. And so, but yeah, it would be a case by case basis of if someone came in and they were having some type of relationship with either the food and how they acted the day before or the exercise or the workout to come. But like to Tyler's point is like, if you really truly wanted to work off the thousands of calories that you overate, I can't do it in one session. So you either need to give me more time or more consecutive days or like whatever. Like this one session is like a fraction of what your progress looks like, right? And so, but again, I feed into it. I'll tell you right now. I think that's why my clients love me. Like whatever they're saying, I'm like, yeah, heck yeah. And then I just continuously do what I had to plan to do. Right. Like, and so that's kind of my approach, but I think people just like to hear you agree with them.
I heard this a little while back, and I'm probably going to butcher and I can't remember who said it. I'm probably going to butcher how they said it, but it was along the lines of you'll never remember the time you stayed on your diet while you were with friends and family. You never will. You'll remember it. And if you do, you'll probably look back on it in a very negative light, right? We've all done the fitness shows and competitions and magazines and all that. And we probably had to stick to this regimented time of being invited out to places, being invited out to dinners, maybe missing a holiday. And I look back during that time and I'm like, that was miserable. I really wish I'd have sat down with that family member and had that piece of pie. Or I really wish I'd have gone and taken a family member to go get that ice cream. But no, I had to stay on this diet. And it's just like, if you can get in that mindset, you will never look back and be like, man, remember that one time I was on that diet and I stayed on it during Christmas? That was sick.
So,
And the results were so awesome afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's very specific example. And Tyler, you like nailed it on the head. I'm in one of my best friend's wedding, just out of college. And I was 1 week out from a physique competition, and looking back, like I don't know if or how I would maybe change things, but I'm at this guy's wedding. We're having a blast, and I am literally eating out of Tupperware at this guy's wedding. and ultimately, like, sure, like I enjoyed competing. I think I won the show, cool. But my association with like his wedding and what I was doing is a negative one. I wish I could have been crushing beers with him and celebrating. And I had this really cool like Texas A&M like stadium with cup. I didn't even get to eat a cupcake,
Oh,
So like the association I have is like, man, that sucks. Now I get to use it as like an example
yeah.
of like maybe what not to do, but you nailed it. It's like, yeah, I remember it, but it's not like a fond memory. It's like, man, that was,
Yeah.
should have done
I
it
remember
differently.
going to a concert during my time of prep and all that, and went out to dinner, had to eat good at dinner, didn't drink at dinner, didn't drink in the concert, and it was a great concert. And everyone's like, hey man, you having fun? I'm like, yeah, this is great. Well, they're all slamming back beers and whiskey, and I'm sitting there with water, and I'm like, this is lame. I really want a drink right now. And looking back, I should have had the dang drink. Should have had it.
I'll say like the beauty behind, so when the only time I got down to like the lean percent 3% body fat, I was relatively new to San Antonio. I'd only been here for like a couple years, so I actually didn't have that many friends, and I don't have no families here. And it was during the holidays because I was getting down for a wedding in Mexico. And so it was like November, December, and the wedding was like January 4th or 5th, I think. And so it was actually easier for me because I had no friends. And so if you have no friends, do it.
That's true. That's so true. It's one of the things we learn about in nutrition is those around you, your environment, right? Your environment and those around you. So that plays a big giant part in all of that. But that's not to say again, the pendulum always swings to being super strict to not caring at all. And it's got to land somewhere in the middle. And I hope that, us talking about this lands it in the middle with those listening or the trainers listening to go to their clients about being in the middle and just being practical. Right now, then we get the guys, or we get some comments, or we talk to some people like, well, look at like people like C-Bum, and look at he's a professional bodybuilder, and look at all these guys, and they're super strict and all that. It's like, yeah, they get paid a lot of money to do that. I don't get paid to not drink to go to a concert with my friends. Like, I'm getting paid nothing. So that argument, it drives me crazy.
Which, hang on a second. Like, this is a great thing to speak about for a second. We're trainers, we're coaches. So if you're like a client or just you enjoy fitness, like even more so, like why would you try to abstain or do something super drastic? Like, we're not getting paid to say no right now to like not drink at a party. Right. So like, man, unless you have like 1 million followers on Instagram, like, just, I guess what we're saying is enjoy the holidays, make great memories, be flexy, right? Get back on your program at a realistic, reasonable interval. Have fun, enjoy, be realistic. I don't know. Is that the nutshell that we're trying to like
yeah, like what are some good bullet points to drive home there? I think it's my let's go around like our bullet points, like our top 3 bullet points for the holidays. Like my bullet points, and they're probably all going to be some of the same as y'all's. Is like 1, stay active. 2, just be mindful of what you're doing. And 3, don't let one day turn into 4 days. That would be my main thing during the holidays. I don't know how else to explain it other than those 3 things.
Done. That was easy.
Yeah.
Is that it? Y'all don't have any extra ones y'all would add in there?
I think so. Mindful looks different for a lot of people because most people are not mindful at all.
That's true. Mindless.
Right. Yeah. And so I would say sometimes being mindful is like in the moment of like, okay, there's some food in front of me, or there's a menu in front of me. What could I do? Right. That's mindful in the moment. Or there could also be like nightly recaps of the day. So you're laying in bed, you're about to go to bed, and you're like, how was my day today? And you're like, man, I did terrible. Okay. Could I do better tomorrow? Probably. That's also what being mindful looks like. But a lot of times neither one of those things happen. And so one day turns into 4 very fast, and 4 turns into a week, and a week is like, I'll start next year. And now here you are 20 pounds heavier, and you're mad at everyone except yourself. It's everyone else's fault except yours.
That's true. It's the coach's fault. We did it to him.
For sure.
I hate your meal plan.
So yeah, so I think if we could like put a bullet point indented underneath being mindful, it would just be like self-reflect either in the moment or at the end of the day, and then develop like a plan for the future. Not even necessarily tomorrow, because again, if it's Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, those are probably 2 back-to-back days where you're not going to do very good, and that's okay. But what are you going to do on Monday after Christmas, right? Can we get back on track?
Tyler, I'm with you. I wouldn't add anything. Joseph, I complete agreement. I think one thing that I would expand on with what you were saying is like, I really like the self-reflection. I like in the moment, like check in with yourself. Like, is the thing that I'm currently doing, like, how do I feel? Do I feel great? The answer might be yes. The answer might be yes. But like if in the moment you're like, wow, I feel awful, what can you do to feel like maybe a little bit less awful? Or what's the next thing that like is in better alignment with you feeling better, or like getting one step closer to being back on track? You're sitting at the table, you had 2 plates instead of the one that you probably like would have totally satiated you. Instead of going and getting like 3 slices of pie, like does 2 make more sense? Those are like the little like check-ins with yourself that I'm talking about. And it's what Joseph's saying. It's, you know, the reflection, the being mindful and present. Those are the little things that I don't know if we can get too good at, but serve us really well.
I talked to a client the other day about the culture of the holiday inside of like your family dynamic. And so she was Latina, Hispanic, and her family obviously just does tamales for like a week straight.
Oh my God, I love tamales.
So
God, I love them. Put them in your eggs, boys. It'll change your life.
I've never done that. I'm
Absolutely.
doing it this year.
Change your life.
But we're on a call, and she might have been lying to me because it almost sounded too good to be true. And so we're chit-chatting on a call, and she's like, hey, Joseph, like, I want to let you know that for Christmas, my family always does tamales, but this year I do want to try and be better. And so I asked them if they could also grill me some chicken breast while they're making the tamales. And I'm going to have tamales, but I'm going to have like 2 and my chicken breast instead of 17 and pie. And I was like,
win.
I have one as a coach. If you're being 100%, like, I'm done. I'm retiring right now on a positive note. That's it. Could you implement something, not change the culture really much at all? Just say everyone's already in the kitchen cooking. Could we just throw some chicken on the grill or in the oven? I'm still going to have tamales, so I'm going to partake in a couple. I'm just not going to have 17, and I'm going to have like another better quality protein source. And it's a win-win. You're with your family, you're chit-chatting, having a great time. You get to enjoy some tamales, and you get to have a high protein quality source.
I'm so glad you just brought that up. I am texting my tamale connections in Dallas right now because I haven't had any yet, and I need some. Actually, I had some. Put them in your eggs. We put them in our eggs at the ranch all the time. It's delicious. Awesome, boys. Cody, do we have a lightning round today?
Pew, pew, boy, pew, pew, pew. Do we ever? Do we ever?
Hey guys, I gotta go.
Right here. Joseph, you sit your butt right back down.
It's lightning. It's not gonna last very long, like at all.
It's quick.
I'm
lightning round for the listeners. I have a short list of questions, comments, topics, whatever. Tyler will have 30 seconds. Joseph will have 30 seconds. We'll just kind of ping pong around.
Yeah, you got the time.
I got my timer, man.
There we go, buddy.
On track. I might even give myself 30 seconds if I absolutely have to. But are we ready? Do I have any volunteers? Who wants to go first?
Tyler.
I'll go first. Let's do this.
Okay. So, by the way, lightning rounds may or may not relate to our topic that we touched on for the entire FitChat, but at the same time, it might be irrelevant, right? So, first question up, lightning round. Tyler, you are up.
Okay, can't wait.
Favorite recovery modality? Go.
I'm not a big flop around on a foam roller or a Theragun or anything like that. Honestly, it's going for a walk or shooting baskets. That's one of my favorite things to recover. If I'm like super crazy sore, I might get a Theragun out, but my favorite, go for a walk, shoot some hoops.
Nice.
I'm done.
Dang, that was quick. Time to spare. Joseph, favorite recovery modality? 3, 2, 1, go.
I wish I could remember the brand because I'd love to give them a shout out, but it's essentially a peanut. So it's like 2 lacrosse balls put together, but it's this thing and it's bigger than lacrosse balls, but it vibrates at all different intensities.
I have one of those. I have one.
I forget what it's called, but I roll around on that thing a lot because I have just knots all up and down my spine and my traps, and it's bigger than a lacrosse ball. So like your shirt doesn't get tucked in underneath it. It's an amazing, and it vibrates. So it's amazing.
I would make a joke there, but we will keep it kosher.
Thought I saw an R rating flash before my eyes right there. It's fine. I'm gonna take a stab at this one, and I think I can do it in less than maybe 15 seconds. Favorite recovery modality? Go get you some good sleep, consistent sleep. Sorry, Joseph. Get
Cody needs
hydrated.
sleep.
Get freaking hydrated. Tyler, I like what you said. Go for a walk. The other thing though is like reevaluate maybe your training volume and intensity. And if you're constantly seeking out recovery modalities, you might just need to dial back the thing that's digging you into the hole.
Yeah, Cody's all about his sleep. You do have I mean, the guest bedroom beds at your house are just chef's kiss. They're
literally
phenomenal.
like I feel like one of the closest things we have to like cheat codes for life, and people are like, I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Resistance training and sleep, fountain of youth.
So good. Okay, next question. Next question. Oh, I like this one. This one's cool. Joseph, we're gonna go with you first. Easiest way to get an extra 30 grams of protein in per day. The context of this is, let's say somebody needs to get in extra protein. How do we help them get another extra 30 grams? 3, 2, 1, go.
Not cottage cheese. However, I would say 30 grams of protein. You can either add 1 scoop of protein powder to some water. You could do like 2 Danon Light and Fit Greek yogurts. You could do a glass of Mootopia high protein chocolate milk. You could do, that's about it. Those are my good ones. I'll stick with that. So protein, yogurt, high protein chocolate milk.
God, I love chocolate milk.
So good.
So good.
Tyler, easiest way to get an extra 30 grams of protein per day for someone who needs to get an extra 30 grams of protein per day. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, I think short answer, like Joseph, is just literally 1 scoop of protein. That's a pretty high volume. Like most protein powders, 1 scoop is not 30. They're usually around 20-ish. So maybe scoop and a half, something like that. I think it's the easiest way. Yogurts, I like beef jerky sticks, chomp sticks. That's something that was not mentioned. High protein oatmeal. Kodiak oatmeal, Kodiak pancakes, Kodiak waffles. Those are fantastic. I love those.
Nice. Right on. Only thing I would add is 1, go figure out what your sources of protein are that you're currently consuming, and then slightly increase those sources that you're already including.
Yeah, 100%.
9 seconds. Okay, moving on.
Cody's always like the brains of the organization. Whatever.
Right? Yeah, just get sleep, add a few ounces of protein, and drink your water.
I just get to cheat. I'm buying myself like a minute to think, and I'm like, how do I distill this down? This is all great stuff, but like, what's the one like nugget? Different. We're going off the beaten path just a little bit. Tyler, you get a unique question, and then Joseph, you get a unique question. Okay.
Deal.
Yeah, super great. Okay, Joseph, you are up first. This is gonna be hilarious. 'Tis the holiday season. Joseph, this year, were you naughty or nice? 3, 2, 1, go.
This year, I was extremely nice. I'll tell you why. I have poured more into people and other businesses this year than I have my own. I've literally exhausted all of my resources, to include my bank account, on other people and other resources that have nothing to do with my own benefit at all.
I love it. That was great.
On the nice list.
I think I can say that I'm maybe a beneficiary of some of that good Joseph knowledge. That's good. That was good. That was a great answer. Okay, Tyler, different question. I hope your wife's listening. Tyler,
she's out to dinner with friends.
Well, you better forward her this FitChat. Tyler,
okay, well.
What is on the top of your Christmas list this year? 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, for me personally? Oh, listeners, Cody Joseph, big time hunter over here. If I'm not training someone, I'm probably hunting or fishing. So most of my gifts have to do, they're like hunting related. So 10 seconds. I just asked for a lot of hunting stuff, hunting clothes. She got me a new pop-up blind. I think some hunting boots, hiking boots. So it's all hunting related. I'm easy.
Awesome. Joseph, do you want to get Tyler like a vegan protein powder for Christmas or something?
Yeah, I'm just gonna give you a box of tofu.
I will feed that to the deer that I shoot.
Okay, final question of the lightning round. Joseph, you are up first. 30 seconds. Cottage cheese, go.
Cottage cheese is disgusting. Let me say that first. Now, from a nutrient standpoint, it's probably close to like one of the most amazing things out there. But just like all very healthy things, it tastes like trash. And so I will instead of doing cottage cheese, I'll just do normal cheese or more egg whites or whatever the case may be, because cottage cheese tastes terrible.
Tyler, cottage cheese. Go.
Yeah. For context, listeners, go follow Cody on Facebook. It was a post today. But I'm Sweden in this whole thing. Is it Sweden or Switzerland? Sweden, maybe. I can't remember. Anywho, I'm neutral with it. Like, I don't like it. I don't love it. I think it's a good supplement to get protein in and all that stuff. Not a big fan of the taste of it. I don't think it tastes bad. I don't think it tastes great. I think you want to add it to some stuff for extra protein. Go for it. That's really all I got with cottage cheese.
Love it. That's great.
Yeah.
Damn, gentlemen.
Is that it? We ended right on time, ladies.
That's it. Oh man. Joseph, have a great Spurs game.
Yeah, Joseph's head of the Spurs game. That was episode number seven, episode number 17. So good to see you, gentlemen. We'll get this out soon. Guys, listeners, family, friends, y'all have a great holiday season. Don't take it too seriously. Have fun, work out, eat good food, enjoy family, friends. We're going to do episode 8 about New Year's and New Year's resolutions. So that's coming up soon. We'll get that out quickly to y'all. We'll film that here in a couple days. Other than that, guys, good to see y'all. See you next time.